Today, you, and I, Dr.Wily, will venture into the world of Hyrule to bust some crazy myths and claims. For example, can you steal this guy's hat? Can you lure a dog out of Hyrule Castle Town? And will the bunny hood prevent stall children from spawning? Well, let's find out. But before we jump into this video, a word from our sponsor, New World Eternum, because the open beta is now live. Explore the Eternal Isles while leveling up your character by defeating mighty foes, completing thrilling quests, or beating other players in the 3 vs 3 PvP arena. And during this journey, you are in full control, because your character can be fully customized in every way imaginable, from looks to fighting style. Because this game has a classless system, so you can perfectly fine-tune your character based on the gear that you equip and upgrade. Now, if you want, you can conquer these challenges alone. But we all know that games like this are better with friends, and luckily enough, crossplay allows you to play with anyone, no matter the platform they use. And I gotta say, as an MMORPG fan, this game looks fantastic in every way imaginable. The combat, graphics, mounts, and especially the dungeons, because they put a lot of effort into the boss fights. So download New World Eternum now on Xbox Series X or S, PlayStation 5 or PC, and play the open beta from the 13th to the 16th of September. And the game launches on October 15th, 2024. So go check it out by clicking the link in the description or the pinned comment. Now, let's get back to the video. Money. You love it, I love it, everyone loves it. And of course, you also need this stuff when playing through Ocarina of Time. And so far, people have suggested multiple ways of making money in the game. Some of them worked, while others didn't. But when I was going through the comments, I saw that Mason made a rather bold claim. He said that you can sell fish to this guy in Hyrule Castle Town for an insane amount of money, 200 rupees a piece. Meanwhile, catching fish is super easy, so this could be a good way to farm money early on in the game. Due to this, I had to try it. So I grabbed a fish and went over to the guy who was very eager to buy anything I showed him. Now, when I presented the fish, he wanted to buy it, but he only offered me 100 rupees, which is still a good amount of money. So in a way, this claim is true, but he offers less than Mason claimed. It could be that he confused it with the price seen in shops in Hyrule Castle Town, but still 100 rupees is good money. Usually I get all the ideas for these videos from the comments, but at times my editor also comes up with ideas, and last time he suggested that I should try to use the hover boots on ice. However, this wasn't very successful, but Super Luigi said that I should try it again, but this time I had to wear the iron boots, because those would prevent me from slipping and sliding around. So I put on the boots while I was in Zora's domain and walked around on the ice to see what would happen. And yeah, I could walk around like normal. Sure, I was slow due to the heavy boots, but Super Luigi was right. So if you really don't want to deal with the classic ice physics, then the iron boots are your best choice. Cuos are relentless. They will hunt you down no matter what, and after doing loads of testing, we've figured out that they really are diehards. But some folks like Death Sentence claim that there are specific places where you can hide from them, and they will leave you alone if you wait a bit. Now, I didn't believe this at all. I have seen the Cuos hunt me down for 15 minutes straight, even though they couldn't hit me. And even if you die, they will continue to attack. So I was quite certain that this wouldn't work. But still, I gave it a shot. All I had to do was hide below the log bridge seen near Gerudo Valley. So I pissed off a Cuo and hid underneath it. When I did this, Cuos were still coming for me. But then, out of nowhere, they stopped. Which, confused me a bit. Usually, they will hunt you down until you leave the area. So by the looks of it, Death Sentence was right. You can escape their wrath in this one spot, and I have no idea why. Now, while we tend to cover weird claims and myths in these videos, we also look at glitches from time to time, but only if they are a bit obscure and unbelievable. And today we will look at another glitch just like that. Because Games for You said that if you wear the Gerudo mask as adult Link, then the wooden poles in the desert will light up, making them easier to see. Now this sounded super useful, so I wanted to try it. However, in order to test this one, I had to perform a glitch known as Ocarina items. This allows you to use any items regardless of your form, because normally you can only use masks as a child. Now for this trick to work, you have to quickly switch between screens and move both analog sticks a specific way on the perfect frame, which sounds pretty tough, and it is. I tried this for a while and couldn't pull it off no matter how hard I tried. I even watched multiple tutorials and still failed, so I just kind of gave up and looked for evidence of this trick online. After some time I found this video that showed off the glitch and the poles lighting up in the desert. So this claim is true, but sadly enough, I am not MLG enough to do it myself. When people suggest things that should be covered in these videos, I usually try to stay away from stuff that has been covered too much or is too well known among every Zelda fan. However, at times I still include claims and myths like these in videos, either because I can quickly talk about them or they are very interesting. And this next one falls in the interesting category, because Wick said that you can go underneath the ice found in Zora's domain as an adult, and at the bottom you will find a secret alcove that is unused, and some theorized that the Triforce can be found here. Now this is a classic video game mystery, one that has been going around for ages, and I can already tell you it is false. You can get underneath the ice, and the alcove is there, but it leads nowhere. But there are loads of fake videos like these on the internet, showing that it leads to either the fabled unicorn fountain or the Triforce itself, but both of these are not in the final game. So that claim is false, but what Wick said is true. Gossip stones are weird, and in the game you can mess with them in a number of ways, leading to all kinds of crazy reactions. But there's one that I had missed and never heard of as well, because Kalogina said that if you bomb a gossip stone, it will begin to flash blue before taking off like a rocket. However, if you strike it when it's blue, then it will remain like that and won't take off. Now this was new to me, so I had to give it a shot. And yeah, this works. It remained blue and was kind of stuck in this state. Sure, if you hit it then it still tells you the time, but it won't take off like a rocket anymore. So this claim is true. Now, sure, I've played through this game multiple times, both on the N64 and 3DS, but still, I don't know everything, which might surprise some of you. Sure, I've been making videos on The Legend of Zelda for 9 years, but believe me, my brain doesn't remember every single detail. I wish. And so sometimes all of you in the comments are able to surprise me, like Kalogina, who said that there's a hidden compartment in the Dongo's Cavern behind one of the lava falls where you first fight the Lizalfos. Now this sounded like a troll comment at first. Let's make Wily jump into lava so he takes damage. But then when I went there to fact check this claim, I was surprised. The lava here doesn't damage you, and in one spot you can jump through. Now sure, it's only a small square hole with a single heart, which can be useful to regain some health after the fight with the Lizalfos, but it is there. So shockingly enough, this claim is true. Switching between the boots that you obtain in the game can be very useful. I mean, Nintendo built the entire Water Temple dungeon around this, which was actually super annoying in the N64 version of the game, but luckily enough they fixed that in the 3DS remake. However, can some of these boots also have drawbacks? Because Sir Skylight said that if you wear the hover boots during the final fight with Ganon, the knockback effect will be much stronger, which sounded logical. These boots make you slip and slide all over the place, so I bet this commenter is right. But still, I decided to test this claim, and I used the moving spikes found in Ganon's castle to do it, because these also throw you around as soon as you touch one of them, and when you compare normal boots to hover boots, you can see that Link is knocked back a little bit further. But this only happens because the momentum carries through when you hit the ground while wearing the hover boots. So I bet we could replicate this effect by just standing on ice. So yeah, this is true, but also not really. So far, we've figured out in these videos that the Gerudo Valley section of the game was a bit of a mess during development. There are loads of leftovers found here, and you're constantly switching between child and adult. In the very beginning of the game, you can't even do anything here. But people have found ways to sneak into this place using special tricks. NAP suggested I should try one of these. Apparently, you can get over the gate by using the Cuco found there and this small wooden pole that's part of the bridge. So I decided to give it a shot. that, even though I am terrible at stuff like this. And surprise, surprise, I failed horribly. So I had to do some research to see if anyone else was able to pull it off. And yeah, I did find something. As you can see, it can be done. All you need is precise movement, some pause screen buffering, and a well-timed jump slash. So the claim is true, and it can even be useful during a normal playthrough if you want to get the heart piece found in the Gerudo's fortress as a child. Once again, we have a challenger in the comments, someone who also claims to have found a way to deal with the Cuos when they attack. Gunslinger claimed that you just need to swim in the middle of a body of water, and if you sit there for a bit, the Cuos will leave you alone because they hate water. Now, after seeing the last claim succeed, I was hopeful, so I went to the waterways that are close to Zora's domain. Once I arrived, I pissed off a Cuo and jumped into the water, only swimming to remain in the middle and in one place. Now, I stayed here for about 3 minutes, but the Cuos just kept coming for me. Sure, they weren't successful, but they didn't stop either. So yeah, as far as I can see, this doesn't work. They don't calm down at all. So I would say that this claim is false. Water isn't the key to escaping these flying demons. Overall, dealing with the Liik Enemy is quite easy. They are slow and don't do much damage. There are only 2 things that make them quite annoying. Once they grab you, you're stuck for a bit, and they will try to steal the gear that you carry. For example, the Hylian shield. But the second thing I mentioned can be prevented by just swapping your shield to the mirror shield very quickly, and the same can be done with the tunics. Well, Ocarina says that works at least. So I went to the Spirit Temple because I could easily find one there, and I let it grab me to see if a quick swap would work. And yeah, this worked very well. I was able to keep my Hylian shield, so I kept trying it. And each time I waited longer and longer. Now at some point the Liik will take your stuff, but as far as I saw, you don't have to be quick at all. You have quite a lot of time, so this works, and it's also super effective. Alright, we've done some experimenting with one of the cutscenes seen in the game, the one where you learn Saria's song, and we saw that you can manipulate the cutscene, but Sansa wondered what happens if you pull off the same trick but use bugs instead of a fish. Do the bugs also show up on her lap during the cutscene? Well, who knows? So I tried it to see what would happen. Luckily enough, I kept the old save file so I could immediately head over to her. When I arrived, I dropped the bugs before going up the stairs, and then I headed up to see if anything would be different. And sadly enough, the answer is no. As far as I could see, everything was normal. There were no bugs anywhere. But now I wonder, why does it work with a fish and not anything else like bugs? If any of you know, please tell me in the comments. The red tunic is a must in Ocarina of Time. Without it, the fire temple is literally impossible to get through because you will burn alive in seconds. And aside from that, it can also minimize fire damage, which we have mostly used it for in these videos. For example, when we were messing around with this cauldron in Gerudo Fortress. Because when we jumped in, we took less damage with the red tunic on. Now when I saw this, I expected that we took less damage because it was heat related. But then Kalajina, again, because man, this person has some good suggestions, claimed that you take less damage from all floor hazards due to coding shortcuts from Nintendo. And I could test this by standing on the invisible spike seen in the Shadow Temple, so I went there to give it a shot. When I entered the room, I put on the red tunic and stood on the spikes. Now as soon as I did this, I saw that I took damage very slowly. But with the normal green tunic on, I took damage every second I was on the spikes. So yeah, the claim is true. Any overtime damage is nerfed as soon as you have the red tunic on. Now some enemies in the game are rather clingy, with the Re-Deads being the best example because they will literally jump on you. As soon as this happens, most players usually start spamming buttons to get this thing off of them, so they can either kill it or get away. But Story Master said that they will actually never let you go if you do nothing. Even when you die and come back due to a fairy, the Re-Dead will continue to hold on to you. Now I was a bit skeptical of this claim. Sure, the Re-Dead won't let go of you until you die, but after that, you probably have the chance to escape. But still, I had to test it. So I went to the tomb found under Kakariko Village and confronted a Re-Dead. Meanwhile, I had 4 fairies and bottles, so I could die again and again. Now when the Re-Dead attacked me, it wouldn't let go of me until I died. But after coming back, the Re-Dead did jump off. allowing me to escape. But if I stay put, then the Redead will jump on me again. So to an extent, the claim is true. If you do nothing, this enemy will kill you, but after that, you can easily escape. A lot of the myths and claims we cover are pretty useless. I mean, they won't make your next playthrough significantly easier. However, this next one is one of the best Ocarina of Time life hacks out there, if it actually works. Because again, Storymaster made a bold claim that if you play the Song of Storms and activate the Lens of Truth after that, then the item won't drain your magic meter until the rain stops. Now, this could be super useful when going through specific areas in the game like the Shadow Temple, so I decided to try it, and at first it didn't seem to work, but when I attempted to do it again, I was successful, and I noticed that this is even more useful than Storymaster claimed. It's clearly some sort of bug and prevents the Lens of Truth from using any magic as long as it's activated, and even when the rain stops, it still won't drain your magic. This seems to work forever, which is incredibly handy, so this person was right. For some reason, Hyrule Field is haunted. Every night, Stealth Children will rise from the ground and attack anyone that comes close. And in these videos, we've looked into ways to avoid them. But so far, we haven't really succeeded. However, Zomborg suggested a way to avoid them. Just stick to the paths found in Hyrule Field, and then they won't spawn. Now, this was a simple solution. So I did exactly what he said to see if they would leave me alone. And yeah, they did. No Stealth Children spawned. But as soon as I strayed from these dirt roads, the undead started to rise. Clearly, the paths are key to staying safe at night, and many also claimed that this was mentioned somewhere in the game, but I have no idea where, and if this is really true. But still, it's cool to see that this works. During the day, Hyrule Castle is very busy. All the shops are open, people are running around, and folks are eager to buy goods at the market. However, during the night, everyone is gone, and the place is flooded with an insane amount of dogs for some reason. Now, normally you have to find a certain dog for someone in order to get a heart piece, but apparently you can do something else with these dogs as well. CD told me that he was able to lure one of the dogs out of Castle Town during a randomizer playthrough of the game, and getting them close to the map transition area was key for this. So I went to town and tried to take one of these dogs with me. First, I tried it at the gate that leads to Hyrule Field. I slowly nudged the dog outside until Link ran out automatically. But when I was outside, the dog was gone. So this didn't work. So I tried something else. I did the same thing, but this time at the path that leads to Hyrule Castle. However, again, the dog was gone. So I tried this twice, and each time it didn't work, which means that this claim is just false. Now, aside from sticking to the path, Zomborg and many others in the comment section also suggested that I should try to wear the bunny hood at night, because when you have it on, the Stealth Children will also leave you alone. But is this true? Am I being gaslit by my comment section? Are they manipulating me with evil intent? Well, who knows? So I just decided to put this silly mask on and ran around Hyrule Field at night to see if any Stealth Children came after me. And the answer is no. None of them spawned. But as soon as I took it off, I was in for hell. Clearly the mask changed things. So I would say that all of you were right. You weren't messing with me whatsoever. When you go to the fishing hole scene in the game, there's only one thing you can do there. Fish. I mean, it's in the name. And most people who go there do exactly that. But I heard from someone in the comments, this commenter specifically, that you can catch more than just fish. When you're an adult, the owner of this establishment wears a hat. And if you're good, you can steal it using the fishing rod he gives you. So I decided to grab it. And after a couple of attempts, I was able to get a hold of it. As soon as I had it, I ran around in victory and kind of teased him as well, because when I talked to him, he asked me if I could give it back, but I said no and ran away. So yeah, this is true, and I gotta say, this is a pretty fun Easter egg, even though it wasn't new to me. Some enemies have weird behaviors that most of us don't know about because you never see them. However, these could be useful. For example, we found out in the past that some enemies are attracted to bombs. And according to Jagatra, blue bubbles, like the ones seen in the Forest Temple, will fly to bombs as soon as you drop one. This made me curious. Will they actually do this? And can you kill them this way? Well, I found one and threw a bomb to see what would happen. And immediately it went bonkers and flew at the bomb. bomb, hovering around it until it exploded, which didn't actually kill it. Sure, it was knocked to the ground, so taking it out was quite easy at that point. And I tried this multiple times, and each time they fell for it. So yeah, this is true, and I never knew about this. I mean, I never really throw bombs at enemies anyway, because most of them move around too much. But it's cool to see that this works. Now those were all the myths we had for this video, but don't worry, because I have more videos like this on the channel, so check them out. Aside from that, be sure to leave your ideas below, and if you become a member, then your comments are at the top of my list. And last but not least, be sure to like and subscribe, so you won't miss any future videos.